Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you I've kind of called it a nugget shaped box. I guess it looks a little bit like a Hershey's nugget, but also like a gold bar nugget. I don't know, but I saw a lovely German demonstrator make one of these and I couldn't quite figure out the way she made them, so I kind of wrote down her measurements and then had a plate and came up with this one. So I apologise, I can't remember the lady's name, but I think they're beautiful. And this just unties and then the DSP just unwraps to open up a beautiful box. So I'm going to show you how I made it. So to start off with, you are going to need a sheet of Whisper White that is... I was just checking I've measured this because it almost looks like a full sheet of A4. This is 8 inches by 11 inches. So we're going to score at, on the short side, we're going to score at, sorry, I keep forgetting my centimetres, don't I? I'm so naughty. So 8 by 11 is the cardstock, which is 20 by 28 centimetres. Going to score the short side at 2 inches and 6 inches, which will be 5 and 15 centimetres. We're then going to score on the long side at 2 inches, 4 inches, 7 inches and 9 inches. And in centimetres that will be 5, 10, 18 and 23. Okay, so once we've done that, we are going to fold and burnish our score lines. So not many score lines, and I am just using plain Whisper White here. It's not the thick one. It's just our beautiful Whisper White. So fold and burnish all of that, and then we're going to cut away the 4 corner squares. So cut away all of these. It's actually quite nice to work with just plain Whisper White. I love working with all the colours that we have, but I do like this Whisper White. And can I just say hello to everybody that follows me. I'm eternally grateful and humbled that people worldwide watch my tutorials and actually comment on them. I know that there's quite a few ladies that live in Germany. There's a lady that always comments from Miami in Florida. I can't remember anybody else and I do apologise, but I know there are so many of you and it is lovely. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. It keeps me going, it keeps me making my videos because I know that you guys are all out there waiting for the next one. So yeah, again, thank you so much. Okay, so we've cut away the 4 corners now. So technically the next 4 corners that we have, these 4 squares here, I need to grab my ruler, that appears to be shedding, my ruler and my scoring tool, and we're literally going to score from we're sort of going to make, I don't even know what shape that would be. I'm rubbish with things like this, but we're going to go from the top right to bottom left, okay, and then on the opposite side, top left to bottom right. So we've got this shape here. I'm going to do exactly the same at the top. So from the bottom left to the top right, and equally on the opposite side, top left to bottom right. Okay, so we now have, can you see those shapes there? And we're now just going to use that score line now to cut away that triangle. Okay, so just however you feel best, whether you want to do it via your trimmer or any other means necessary, just cut across there with your scissors. So you now have those 4 triangles cut away. So we're now left with this shape. Okay, so on your triangles that we have now, what we need to do is mark the centre of the line we've just cut. Okay, so we're going across here and we're going to mark it halfway, which is the simplest way for everybody, is 3.5 centimetres. Okay, so once you've got your mark there, we're going to score from that mark down to the centre. So we're going to do that now on all of the 4 sides that we've just cut. So we're marking at 3.5 and we're scoring down to the cross, if you like, of previous score lines. So again, as I say, 3.5, and then the last one, 3.5, and score. So now we've got this shape going on, and you can probably already tell that this is where we're going to fold that corner in. But that's not the end, I'm afraid. There is a few more score lines, just 4 more. So again, as you've got your paper like this with your diagonals here, on the centre rectangle, from the left we're going to mark at 1.5 centimetres, and equally from the right 1.5 centimetres. Okay, so I've now got, you see those 2 little dots, 1.5 centimetres in from both sides, and then where that mark is, we're going to score that one back down to the cross. I hope this is making sense, and I hope that you're able to understand this. We're going to spin it round and do exactly the same again. So mark 1.5 centimetres, and then scoring again from those crossed score lines up to that mark you've made. Okay, and that, I promise, is it from the scoring. So what we need to do now is back again to our triangle, and we are simply going to fold these in. Okay, so we're creating our box. Okay, so that one will fold in there, this one will fold in there. Okay, and you do that for all 4 sides. Now what you need to do then, and I found this the easiest way possible, is to add some wet glue inside that fold, fold it together, make sure it lines up. I actually got my, I'm trying to see if you can see, let me try and fold that over. So I got that corner and I literally used my nail and then my bone folder to flatten it, and then I actually used my wooden clothes pegs to hold it in place. So I did that for all 4 sides. Ta-da! Here's one I made earlier. So these have all now been glued. They now are all stuck together, okay, to create my box. But that doesn't give us the nugget shape, does it? No, because that separate score line that you made, which is here, can you see them? On the sides, you need to make sure that these folds go against the part with the lids, okay, if that makes sense. So you don't want them folded the same side as your score line, because it just doesn't work that way. Now you have 2 options here. You can go back in with your wet glue and your clothes peg, but what you need to do is you need to adhere these tabs you've already done to the back. Now on my original one, although it can be a little fiddly, I'll only do one side to show you. I actually found it best, and I'm going to try and do this so you can see, to pop some tear and tape on the back. Can you see? On the back of that piece there. And then I got my piercing tool to take the backing off, and then I stuck it onto the back. So now, like, this one is free, this one isn't. So you need to do that for all of your pieces. So you can lie it flat. It does actually make it a fraction easier. I'll do them all because I'm pretty quick at this bit. So I'm lying my box flat. So I'm lying it flat and folding this down, sticking the tear and tape on there. Okay. So I'll do it for this last one. And it is, if you have reasonably dainty hands, you're going to be okay. Remember where your score line is. Remember to stick it to the opposite side. Okay, you maybe need tweezers as well to help you get the backing off, because trust me, these are super fiddly. But I found this works best because it just stops everything getting in the way, if you like. The other thing as well is when you are doing these bits, you may find that it doesn't, do you see how it's not lying flat? It's overhanging. When I did that, when I brought this piece down to make it flat, I pulled it so that it was level, and then I used my nail to reimburse that score line where I wanted it to be so it would sit flush. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So my tabs here have been glued together. They've now been stuck to the back. You will need some more tear and tape in a moment, but simply what you're going to do now is where that score line is on the side, just here, I'm trying to hold it at the right angle for you to see, we're going to tuck that one in so that it lies against the back. Okay, so you're now making your nugget shape. Can you see how that has sat? Okay, now again, this is where the fiddly part comes in, because you can either use wet glue and hold it again with some clothes pegs or whatever you have, or if like me you prefer the quick solution, pop some tear and tape. So again, oops, so you can see on this one, look, that's my score line here, and that's going to be stuck to that side. So I've popped some tear and tape just inside the score line. It's really hard to show you this one. I probably would have been better with coloured cardstock because you would have seen the tear and tape. But I'm simply pushing that against the box, and you can now see that that sloping side is now adhered. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Take that tear and tape off, and again just fold that. You're just pinching the two sides together. That's all you're doing. So that is that side created. I'm going to do exactly the same on this other side. So I just need a couple more strips of tear and tape. And I find, as you've seen, I find it easier to lie this box on its end when you're doing these bits, because it just gives you that bit of a hard surface to lean on to pop your tear and tape on. And then I probably would advise actually to do both of them. Take the backing off both pieces, get out, at the same time. This one's just slightly over the edge, so it's going to be awkward to get off. There we go. So get that one off there. So take the backing off both sides as you're going to work, and like I said, you just pinch that, and then you'll run your nail just along that score line there to hold it. And likewise with this one, I'm just going to pinch, and then I'll just use my nail again just to reinforce that score line. And there is your little nugget shaped box, and obviously this is just your lid. So there's your box. Okay, so Now we just need to wrap it. DSP, beautiful DSP, and we are going to score. So your DSP is 10¼ inches by 2 3/4 inches, which is 26 centimetres by 7. And we are going to score at 2 inches, 4 inches, 7 1/16, and 9 1/16, which is 5.5, 10.5, 15.7 and 20.7. And then I'm going to burnish these. Scissors falling all over me here. And remember, when you're burnishing DSP like this, make sure when you fold it over that it's lying straight, because if it's like that, it's not going to sit straight on your project. And when you've worked this hard, you want it to look pretty. So I'm bringing in my box again, popping the base down, and then just pop in my DSP over the top. Okay, so to tie this up, I'm going to use the beautiful Calypso Coral satin ribbon. I don't want to tape all of this up because I think a belly band would make it difficult to get off. So instead, I've got some of my beautiful ribbon that I am now going to attempt to tie a bow on. In fact, let me spin this DSP round, because then the closure of both of those, the box and the DSP, are at the back, which I'm always banging on about, so let's do it correct. So I'm simply going to tie a bow. I love the way I say simply, because it never actually is it? So let's see if this will work. Yes, 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 come on, come on, yes! Yay, look at that pretty bow, first time. That's it, round of applause please. Yes, I did a pretty bow look the first time. Yay, I don't know how many videos I've done, but that must be a first, seriously. So I'm just going to trim the tails of that off slightly. And now I just want to add a pretty little sentiment. So I have the Everyday Label Punch, which I'm going to punch some, I'm actually going to use Blueberry Bushel. I don't know if that's the correct blue, but hey, that's what I'm going with. So Blueberry Bushel, which I'm actually going to cut in half. Oh, I can hear you all gasping. And then I need, and I'm actually using the sentiment from Humming Along, wishing you an amazing birthday, which I'm also going to stamp in Blueberry Bushel. Onto some lovely Whisper White there. And then punch out again with the Everyday Label Punch. I probably should have done it the right way round, then it doesn't make it harder, does it, to try and get it straight. There we go. So that's that bit done. And then I'm simply adding a strip of snail to the back of those. And then I'm just lining the top and the bottom up with that there. Same again the other side, making sure I've got a pretty similar distance both sides. And so I now have a sort of an edging around my label. A couple of glue dots either side. And then I actually, no I didn't use that, I'm getting my projects mixed up here. Bitty Blooms punch pack, these cute little flowers. I am going to go with Calypso Coral on this one, but this punch for some reason just loves the card so much it doesn't like to get rid of it. So I've got my two little flowers here, my glue dots, my piercing tool and my Happiness Blooms enamel dots. And I think I'm going to go with, let's get this little strip nearly finished, some yellow. which I believe is pineapple punch. Crikey, memory stopped for a minute. It's been a long day doing lots of videos. You kind of start to fog into one and you can't remember what you're doing where. But the good news is the sun is shining, which makes me happy. Nice blue sky. And as you know, I film these quite a way in advance, but I'm so excited because my new storage for my ink pads and pens and blends and things has just arrived, and I'm really excited. Gutted that I'm having to film before I can get them out of the box and rearrange, but you know, duty calls. I have to get my films done first. I'm very good like that. If I have to get something done, I will do it before I have fun. Because otherwise it's just a bind, isn't it? Just a drag that you think, oh, I've still got to do that. I've still got to do this. So no, I'm very good getting my videos done, then I can play. So as you saw, I just popped my flowers on there and there's my nugget shaped box. I hope you like them. I do. I think they'd be really cute filled with a little gift too. Hope you have a great day. See you all again soon.